undivided attention. Thank you.
Dave, I like that. How you guys all doing today? You guys want to go back to class? No! I can't hear you guys. Want to go back to class? No! Okay. Well, when we first organized this, Pat told me you guys had a whole bunch of spirit. You're kind of letting me down right now. Let's try it one more time. You guys want to go back to class? Okay, good. Okay, we're going to make this quick. I'm going to bring the band out. Take a couple minutes here to talk to you guys about something really important. But first, I want to see how quiet you guys can get. Okay, perfect. You guys keep it just like that. We'll get right through this, and if you just give me your undivided attention, we'll bring the band out really quick. My name is Randall. I'm with EarthJam. We're a company. We travel all over the country, visiting high schools, promoting different kinds of tours. And our tours, they focus on a lot of different issues. Issues like teen pregnancy, self-esteem, destructive decision-making. But today we're going to talk about one very important issue, and that's violence here in your school and your community. Now, I want to introduce also another organization called NOT. N-O-T stands for Not Our Town. Now, when we hear about violence in the media, we think this sort of thing can't happen in our town or at our school. It happens everywhere else. But it will happen here. It can happen here. Hence the name, Not Our Town. Something you guys need to think about. Let me ask you guys this. How many of you guys watch the news on TV? Raise your hands. Okay, a couple months ago we started this tour in Orlando. And right when we started this, I found out through the newspaper that a first grader had been shot by another first grader. Did you guys hear about that in Michigan? Raise your hand if you guys heard about that. Just one morning, the first grader went to school and there was a little handgun on the counter. The first grader brought that to school. A couple hours later, the principal called a couple parents and said, your child is dead. And where I'm going at with this is responsibility. How many of you guys have younger brothers and sisters out there? Raise your hand. Okay, a role model is someone that we all look up to. Now, who do you guys think are your younger brothers and sisters' role models? Could be you guys, exactly. So here's the deal. If you guys have weapons at home, I'm not going into whether you have weapons or not. I'm going to go into responsibility. If you do, you need to secure them. Little handgun was left on the counter at home, and a couple hours later, a little first grader was shot. Now, when I was in first grade, I was thinking about the swing set, sandbox. Wasn't thinking about a handgun. So an adult irresponsibly left a handgun on the counter. Little first grader brought it to school. Next thing you know, there was a funeral. That's why, as role models, every one of you guys have to take responsibility for your actions. You need to think before you act. If you have a weapon, you need to secure it. Now, you guys as American citizens have the right to an education free and safe from harm. Now, how many of you guys feel safe here at school? Raise your hand if you don't feel safe here at school. Right on. We got a joker in the group, but we'll be all right. So it's good to know that you guys all feel safe here at school. How many of you guys have ever seen a fight here at school? Okay. How many of you guys have been in a fight here at school? Raise your hand. Okay. Let me tell you this. It's really nothing too cool. Let me tell you about fighting here at school. When you guys see a fight here at school and you go running up and you go cheering these people on and you're throwing stuff and all that, you're supporting this type of behavior. You guys in back, listen up. This is important. You guys are supporting that type of behavior when you go running up to a fight. And this is something we don't want to do. We don't want to egg these people on. First of all, someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to go home bleeding. So now you're supporting this type of behavior, supporting violence. So if we set a trend right now where we don't support this violence, where we don't go running up to fights, when your younger brothers and sisters and your friends come to this school, they're going to be a little bit safer. So we need to start that trend right now. And only you guys can do it. You need to come together and act together, start a trend. That way in a couple of years, we won't be doing these kind of things. Now, when we started this tour, I was in the hotel room one night with the drummer Brian. He was telling me how when he was a freshman at high school in Cleveland, where he went to high school, he told me that there was 90 kids in his graduating class, in his freshman class actually. A policeman came to school one day and was talking to him similar to what I'm doing, and the policeman said, one of you guys is not going to make it to graduation because someone's going to get involved in an act of serious violence. Talking about stabbings, talking about beatings, talking about shootings, and I'm talking about murder in your schools. I want you guys, everyone look around at your peers and your friends. Which one of you guys is not going to make it to graduation because you got involved in an act of serious violence? Hopefully none of you guys. I want every one of you guys to make it. So maybe if you digest a couple of the things I'm saying today, apply some of these thoughts, we can reduce the amount of violence that happens here at your school. Now, 1 out of every 10 schools each year report an act of serious violence. I could probably name 10 schools around here. One of these schools is going to report an act of violence, a shooting or a stabbing or a beating. And hopefully it's not going to be you guys or a friend of yours. So if we start setting this trend of nonviolence right now, everyone's going to be a little bit safer. Now, people are violent for a couple different reasons. They have built up emotion, built up aggression. They want to manipulate people. They want to retaliate against people. It's one thing to know why people are violent. It's a whole other story to act on that and do something about it. So if you wake up in the morning and you're all bummed, you're mad, you got aggression built up inside of you, and you feel like engaging in a fight, you have a choice. You don't need to get in that person's face and be violent. You can say to yourself as a mature adult, I feel aggressive right now, I have built up emotion, but what am I going to do about it? Do I become violent, or do I utilize another avenue? And there are other avenues you guys can utilize. The first and most important one is communication. Surrounded by your friends, surrounded by your teachers, your counselors. You got Pat, we got everyone here that can help you guys out. So when you have built up aggression and built up emotion, or you feel like retaliating, you need to seek out your friends, you need to seek out your counselors, you need to seek out your teachers and your parents, talk these things out, release this emotion as a mature adult does, and not engage in violence as an immature adult does. Now, every day in your lives, you need to take responsibility for your actions. Don't want to leave handguns laying around, nothing like that. Those kinds of things are really super important. We need to take heed to that advice, because just a couple months ago in Michigan, a first grader got shot, parents got a phone call. It could have easily been your parents. Getting a call from the principal saying, you know what? Your kid just got shot. Does that mean anything to you guys? I'm going to keep saying it 10 times in the speech because it hurt. It hits home. I got a little niece at home. She's going to be going to school soon. And these kind of things are important. So if we start setting these trends right now, we can avoid these things from happening. Now, every day here in the United States, 10 to 12 of you guys in your age group are involved in an act of serious violence that results in a death. Every day in this United States, 10 to 12 of you guys are involved in an act of serious violence that results in a death. And 25% of these acts involve the use of a gun. There's more guns in this country than there are people. I want you guys to think about that. We have to be responsible for our actions. Can't leave handguns laying around for little kids to grab them. I'm not here to scare you guys. I'm here to empower you to act. To think about some of the things I've been talking about. And we can apply them and hopefully reduce the amount of violence. I want to ask you a true or false question. True or false? Most of the crimes committed amongst people in your age group occur at night. What do you guys think? Exactly. The answer to that question is false. The crimes that are committed amongst people in your age group are committed between 2 in the afternoon and 6 in the evening when you guys get out of school. So again, we say to ourselves, we know this, but what are we going to do about it? How many of you guys are involved in sports? Raise your hand. How many of you guys are into band, into music? How many of you guys are into studying? Okay. What I'm getting at with this is this. We have extracurricular activities. We have youth groups. We have sports. We have the band. These are things you guys can get involved in to occupy yourselves after school. So you're just not lurking in the streets, lingering on the corner, and getting caught up in trouble. Now, I spoke to one of the administrators here at school, and we were trying to figure out the amount of violence that occurs here. She told me it's really not too much, a couple fights, but what I do think is going on here is peer pressure and cliques. It happened at my school, and I think it's happening here too. And it's something you guys need to consider. If you're being picked on by a group of people, they're calling your name, they're calling you names, they're talking about the way you dress, maybe you wear all black, who knows. The deal is this. When someone's calling you names, they're being immature. And the ability to recognize that a group of people is being immature, puts you on your way to reconciling with those people. And once you realize they're just acting mature, it shouldn't really affect you overall, because you are acting more mature than those people are. So when people are calling your names and talking stuff like that, in one ear and out the other, peer pressure is tremendous. How you guys feel about what your friends say about you can hurt a whole bunch. It's something to think about. When someone's talking wrong about you and you're involved in this sort of activity, they're just being immature. So you need to remember that. And hopefully we can all get through that sort of thing. Now you guys are sitting here saying, well, what can I really do? I got a couple of things you guys can do. Pat told me you guys have a peer mediation group forming. We have anger management training. Now this is a really good thing. When you guys have built up aggression, emotions, or you hear about someone that's upset, these are the type of groups we can all attend We can get out our emotions, we can talk about things like this, and we can hopefully be nonviolent. Just talking about something like that for 10 minutes a week can reduce the amount of violence. It can, and it does work. What I've been doing is traveling around the country and been putting these little boxes here in schools. And what this little box is, it's a tip-off box. And we're gonna put one up here at your school too. And how this works is, when someone hears about violence gonna be committed, someone's gonna fight after school, or someone brought a knife to school, you can anonymously write down on a piece of paper, slip it in the box, and a faculty member will come by each day and look in the box. And hopefully we can reduce the amount of violence, get the weapons off the campus, and things like that. So hopefully we can institute this program here. Who out there is overly concerned about safety at your school? Is anyone really concerned about safety here? Someone raise your hand. Anyone overly concerned about safety? Okay, do I pick someone? Man, you in the back right there, come on up. Come on up and help me out. You guys, this gentleman right here unknowingly just volunteered to help institute this program right here. Let's give him a hand. Here's the deal. When you guys see this, what was your name? Ted. When you guys see Ted here, when you guys see whatever his name is here in the hallway, Ted. Okay, I'm sorry. Here's the deal. He took the courage to come up here. We're going to institute this program here on your campus. When you see Ted here on campus, you need to thank him. Don't laugh at him for coming up on stage. Because when your younger brothers and sisters come to this school, your friends come to this school, and we have this program activated here on campus, we may be able to save someone. So this gentleman's going to help me enact this program. When I call the principal next week and find out how it's going, I'm sure they're going to give me rave reviews. So I want you guys to give this guy a big hand. When you see him on campus, thank him. Okay. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about before I wrap this up is looking for the warning signs that you see in your friends here on campus. It's something you guys can talk about in your peer mediation group. When you see someone walking around and they're all upset, and you can tell they're talking about violence, they're acting aggressive, they're withdrawn. These are signs of abnormal behavior that can lead to violence. And the ability to recognize that can help reduce the amount of violence that happens at your school. So I want you guys to think about that too. If someone's acting aggressive, they're being withdrawn, that sort of thing. Those are warning signs for violent behavior, and that's something you guys can use, look at, spread the word to your friends, make sure no one increases the amount of violence that goes on here at school. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap this up. You guys need to remember something. This is your school, it's your community, and it's your responsibility. If you guys all come together, help out each other, we're going to be able to reduce the amount of violence that occurs here on campus. Okay, now it's my responsibility to entertain you guys. This band I'm going to introduce, I've been traveling all over the country with them for the last 2 months. We visited about 50 high schools, played in front of about 60,000 kids. Last summer, these guys jammed with Rage Against the Machine at the Fuji Fest in Japan. They just got off a tour with Stroke 9 and Vertical Horizon. They've been on a nationwide high school and hard rock tour. If you want to find out more about Neve, you can pull up neve.com on the internet, find out about merchandise, tours, events, things like that. If you guys want to find out about EarthJam, pull up earthjam.net. We can find out about environmental awareness, more issues about how to prevent violence and self-esteem and teen pregnancy and things like that. So you guys, put your hands together. Let's hear it for Neve.